What's kicking, y'all? Kwikpanik here, and I am back with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today I'm going to go over my Fort Worth Regional report. So I went to the Fort Worth Regional with some friends, and I already have my invite, so this was just going to be for playing for a mat. It's a sick-looking mat, so I really wanted to try and get it, but that didn't happen. So here's my story. So I went up to the Fort Worth Regional the day before, and I was really comfortable with the deck that I had. I was able to write my deck from memory, and I have lots of experience playing with the True Draco engine, so no worries going into the tournament. I start the first 4 rounds going undefeated. I 2-0'd all of my opponents, and then I get to round 5, and I lose to this guy who just absolutely God hands me. It's really unfortunate, and so I get God handed by this guy. And here's the story. Here's what happened. It was so sad. So I'm going into the game with this positive mindset. All of my opponents are having a good time. We're talking. I think this guy and I talked about Pokemon. It's really cool. And I open up with Barrage, Zoodiac Barrage, and I go ahead and activate it. And my opponent has Max C. Whatever. Happens, right? Go into Ram, go into Dryden. End of story. Happy day. My opponent goes, and he ends up just demolishing my Dryden, obviously. And he builds a board that I cannot get through because I don't know how to draw hand traps. I absolutely drew like 0 hand traps up until maybe like round 6. I know I drew it around 8, round 8 for sure. But I draw like absolutely no hand traps, even though I'm running 6 of them. I like to open up Takatomborg and like 9 Dragonic Diagrams because that's better somehow, I think. And so I lose game 1 against this guy, and whatever, that's fine. He had the Max C, that happens sometimes. Game 2, I go and I start with the Dragonic Diagram. He already knows what I'm playing. Usually I like to play the Zoo part of the engine first, so they don't know that the Draconic part is coming, but he already knows. So I just start with the Dragonic Diagram, trying to bait out the Ghost Ogre. I get Ghost Ogre, cool. Then I go into Zoodiac Rapier, and I go ahead and overlay into Borbo, and I activate the effect Special Summon Rapier, and he has Max C again. What? Whatever. That's fine. So I end on Dryden with a Rapier and a very, very sad face. And he goes on his turn. He outs my board, obviously, because it's just a Dryden and a Zoodiac Rapier, or a Borbo and Rapier. I can't remember how I left it, but he goes and he builds his board. And of course, I don't have any sort of hand traps because I don't like to draw those. Makes the matches too unfair. And he doesn't end up winning that turn. I go and I have a Masterpiece play, but this man, he drops Ghost Ogre on my Dragonic Diagram again, and then he Ash Blossoms my second Barrage. So I can't do anything. You can't answer that. That's how that happens. I don't run Divine Wrath or Herald of Orange Light, so he was just blessed by the hand of God to win that game. So that's fine. I took my first loss, round 5. Game 6, I play... I think round 6. Yes, round 6 I play a guy from Austin that I met that day, and he was pretty cool. We talked about Pokemon again. So it seems like everybody plays Pokemon, so that's awesome. Having a good time, and I'm not too down about my loss. I couldn't have done anything about it. I didn't have any misplays. I beat him. He's also playing the True Draco deck, and it's another mirror match, but I'm pretty well versed at, I think. Round 7, I have to play against one of my buddies from Team Shenanigans. Also on the same team as me, and I ended up beating him. He opened really poorly. He won the die roll, but he wasn't able to capitalize. Actually, I lied. This is where I drew my Ghost Ogre. So I drew Ghost Ogre, and I killed his diagram, and he wasn't able to recover from it. And I make my board, whatever. So I win game 2 as well, outing his board with like Gamma Seal and Dark Hole, I think. And we talk a little bit. Afterwards, I see Billy Braken passing, and I say hi to him, ask him how his tournament's going. And when I passed by him again a couple minutes later, when the postings are up, I was like, hey, Billy, good luck, because he's working on his Worlds points, right? And he's like, I'm playing you. And everybody, one of my buddies gave him a win because he wanted him to get Worlds points. And we all want Billy to do well. Like, none of us are even close to doing that. But I have like a little bit of a vendetta because in 2015, I had my first ever YCS top with Shadal's. And I made it to top 16. So I win my top 32 match, and then we go into top 16, and we have to draft for top 16 out of the battle packs. And I'm really salty because Billy was playing a 60-card trash deck. He still likes to play 60-card decks apparently now, but he was playing like Burning Abyss, Shadal, something. I don't remember what the other... he mashed like 3 decks together. And so he whomps my butt there. And it was my first YCS and top. So I'm really upset about it. And we come back to today. And I realize he's in a position for points because he only needs to like top 32, I think, to get points. And I end up beating him. So I actually drew my hand traps this game, which was cool. And I take game 1, he takes game 2, and I take game 3. Tell him sorry, I had to beat you, but I had to get revenge. So I got revenge this weekend, or this past weekend. No regrets. He still got his points, so can't be upset. He actually ended up placing higher than I did, even though I beat him, and we had the same record. But whatever, that's how that goes. So that was round 8. Round 9, I go in and I'm 7-1. So I just need to win this and I get a mat. Really cool, right? Well, my opponent is playing True Draco Invoked, or so I think. So he starts the game and he starts with Alistair, searching for invocations, some other stuff, whatever. It's a real grind game and I get him down to like 450, I think, or 1450, something really, really low. And he has 6 cards in deck. And we've simplified the game state. I think I have a Trident. He outs the Trident somehow. Baits the Trident pop, I think is what he did. And I can't remember what he did. But then he drops Glass Spell into Ice Spell into Snow Bell. He still had all of these targets in the 6 cards left in his deck. What? And then I can't out the Crystal Wing because it can't be destroyed by card effects. And it was so frustrating. That game was mine and it got stolen. That was sheer luck. So... whatever. Yeah, I didn't misplay. I just couldn't do anything about it. Game 2, we go in. I make my board. He Dark Holes it. Actually, first he Gamma Seals my Masterpiece, which is unaffected by spells. And then he Dark Holes the remainder of my field. And that's really unfortunate. That happens. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! But he goes into Crystal Wing again. And then I out the Crystal Wing with a Gamma Seal next turn. And then we simplify the game state again. He gets rid of my Trident, which is what I had left defending my life points, and he drops a Glass Spell, and I ash it, and then he ends up summoning Fossil Dyna Pachycephalo. My next card was Zoodiac Barrage. So that's how that ended. He whomps me in the face for a couple turns, and I'm sad. I cry for the next 30 hours. No, so I wasn't that upset, but my buddy got his invite. I get 17th place out of 300 and something people, and that's how that went. So that was my tournament report. I'll go over the deck here a little bit. I'm still going to be playing a version of this deck here coming into the June 12th format, and I've been testing a couple things, but I'll go over my choices here. So I'm running pretty standard Zoodiac cards. I'm only running 2 Whiptail because the third one was getting kind of cloggy, and I'm running 2 Zoodiac Rams because it has a lot of synergy with Diagram, right? And the Rams actually came in clutch because you can use them to negate True King's Return or True Draco Apocalypse anytime they're trying to pop your Zoodiac XYZ that has it as a material. Some opponents had to read my Ram because they didn't realize that it did that, and they were more paying attention to the fact that it got its effect to special summon from the graveyard. So that's why I played 2 Rams. I played 1 Thoroughblade just because I like to dig from the deck to start with True Draco Masterpiece and what's his name? Trident. Beautiful, beautiful Trident. So anything that lets me draw, I was a huge fan of. I ran the Terratop engine with Captain in my hand all the time. And then Lunalight Black Sheep, I only ran 1. Then I ran 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring just because this was going to be people's last weekend to run the 60-card deck. And I just wanted to negate all the grasses greeners that I could, which it did. Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, ran it 2. I'm probably going to swap this with Ash Blossom and run 3 Ghost Ogres and 2 Ash Blossoms just because the next format's going to be a little bit different. And then the 1 Maxi. I ran 3 Barrage, 3 Tenki, 3 Diagram. I ran 3 Terraforming. Some people opt for 2. But I really want to start with the True Draco stuff, like I said, with my Trident. So however I can get to that is what I'm going to take. So 3 Terraforming worked really well for me. I ran 2 Cosmic Cyclone for back row hate and also for the True Draco matchup. If I feared my opponent was going to tribute a return or something off, or that was their only card in hand, or I could read what the rest of the cards were, I would just Cosmic Cyclone whatever spell or trap they had for tribute fodder. And it also worked against a Metal Foe player that I played against, so that was cool. But the True Draco Heritages and Disciples and True King's Return and Apocalypse don't get their effects if they get banished. They have to go to the graveyard. And then we have Raigeki and Fusion Sub. I only ran the one Fusion Sub because I didn't want to brick so hard. When I was running 2 Fusion Subs, I started with it more, obviously. My side deck, I ran 2 Gamma Seals. I didn't want to run a full Kaiju engine because the Slumbers always get ashed. Always. I don't know why. And so I ran 2 Dark Holes for board wipes when I'm going second. I also ran 2 enemy controllers for when I'm going second as well. If I can summon a monster and then take like a spent Trident or another Zoodiac, I can just take it and overlay on top of it, and it's mine. And then I ran a whole bunch of traps. And I did this, I talked about this a little bit in my side decking video that I posted at the beginning of my channel. But I like to put in the traps when I'm going first, just because it allows me to establish a board, and then it's really hard for your opponent to fight through all those back rows, and also set up a good board themselves. So that was my strategy there, and it worked really well. I have 0 regrets. I might do this next format too. It depends how slow it is. I might be able to main deck some of this stuff. Then the extra deck is extremely, extremely boring. I ran the 1 Norden, rest in peace, my friend. I ran the 1 Invoker, ran 2 Emeralds, and I ran a Tornado Dragon. This is the only thing that's kind of different, I guess. But I liked Tornado Dragon because in the True Draco Zoodiac mirror match, it's really good to pop their barrages and their Tenkis and their diagrams. So that's why I ran him. And then on the Zoodiacs, I decided to run 2 Chakanine and 2 Tiger Mortar because I wanted to be heavier on the Zoodiac portion of my deck. As you can see, I only ran the 3 masterpieces for the True Draco stuff, monsters, rather. I kind of wish I had a 3rd Trident sometimes, so I might just drop the Norden for a 3rd Trident or a 3rd Broad Bowl. Not sure yet for the next format. So that's all I got there for that report. But I have, apparently there's like an ARG States Championship coming up here at the end of June. And it'll be in the new format. So I'm going to be playtesting the True Draco Zoo, and I'm also going to be playtesting True King Dino, just because those are the 2 decks that I think will probably be strongest in this format. I still want to try the Invoked True Draco stuff, see if it gets any sort of footing in this format. But that's all I got for today. Don't forget, if you're a fan of Overwatch, I'll be streaming that every Thursday. So tomorrow, Thursday, at 7 p.m. Central Time, I'll be streaming some more Overwatch. And tell me what you think about me using the dueling book interface instead of using actual cards. I always like to touch the actual cards, and it's always more interesting to me for deck profiles when I can actually see the cards. I don't know, maybe I just like shiny things, but if this works better for you, let me know. It lets you kind of see the entire deck at the same time, which I can see the benefit of. But I was thinking about doing like a deck builder for a new format. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you want to see. Leave a like down below if this is the kind of content you like, or you like my pretty face. But I hope you guys have an awesome day. Later.